Well, again, everyone, it's me, Nick Michalak, and the stunning Steve Frazier.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but thank you.
Well, I try. We try to pump ourselves up to make it seem like we're more than we are.
Well, that's fine.
But anyway, guys, so we're doing a very special thing this month. We're doing a double feature of Scott Derrickson films because this is July, and his birthday is July 16th. So we just figured, hey, these are on the schedule.
Let's give him some love.
Let's do it. So, guys, we've got our copy of Sinister with us today. And hopefully you got your own copy of it so you can sync up to the timestamp of 0 and turn on your subdials to follow along with us. And we'll sync up with the countdown to get going, so enjoy the ride. So in 3, 2, 1, play.
All right, remind me again, this was 2012?
Yes, October.
Right, October of 12. Yeah. So not really any sort of anniversary or anything that we're celebrating other than we're celebrating the filmmaker.
Yes.
Well, the director. I don't know if he did anything beyond directing it, but...
Co-write.
Oh, he did co-write. Okay,
co-write
good.
With
okay.
Cargill.
Oh, good. Well, then there we go. Extra love.
Yes.
Was this his first movie?
Who, Derrickson?
Yeah.
No, he had done a couple. He had done the first direct-to-video Hellraiser movie, Inferno.
Oh, Jesus.
Not great.
I can't imagine it would be.
Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Oh, Emily Rose, right. God damn it.
6 years before this. Well,
Emily Rose is fucking brilliant. I forgot that was him.
Yeah.
God damn it, Emily Rose is great.
Well, this was the first produced screenplay for Cargill, who's now his regular collaborator on...
What an opening shot, right?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about that? Like,
yeah.
That's scary as fuck. I think hanging, I think we talked about this before, hanging is like such a crazy, like, imagery.
Right.
Like, it's so scary.
Yeah.
Anytime that you see a hanging or, like, this is a weird, like, hanging in reverse. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
Because it's a go up, not a come down.
Yeah, that type of thing. I mean, it's so everything about it. Every aesthetic here.
Right.
The bags over the heads.
Oh, God, you know how much I hate that. Jason.
The use of the Super 8mm film stock is all just designed to creep you the fuck out
and it's
right away.
Done its job.
Oh, yeah. I went to see this on a Saturday afternoon of the opening weekend, and it don't matter time of day, man. You go in there and this thing just fucking ripped the crap out of me. I just gripped to the seat, man.
Already, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
We're 30 seconds in.
Oh, yeah. Hot stuff.
How many horror movies open with a moving van? So many.
There's a few.
Like, so many. What a way to start a... Like, I guess any movie, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're moving into the new house. Everything's rosy.
Yeah.
Until it's not. Here we have the great Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yes.
Probably should have won an Oscar for Training Day.
I
don't remember what the other choices were that year, but...
We've got plenty of time to look it up.
Yeah, we sure do.
Okay, we've got some time. Fred Thompson.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Dalton Thompson, right?
Fred Dalton Thompson.
Former U.S. Senator.
He was attempted presidential candidate for 2008, but he bowed out when things didn't get as much traction for him. And he passed away in 2015.
Yeah, not long after
He
this.
had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma
Ooh,
diagnosis that came back up for him. But
great character actor. Like, what? It's so weird to have politician actor, right? You know?
I mean, showing up in Hunt for October, Die Hard 2, a couple of other really solid
he's been in so
across,
many things.
Across all over the place. He was really, really solid.
I like she's giving him sass right away. I think it's a very common problem. I think easily identifiable for
Little kid.
a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? And from the perspective of the kid.
Yeah.
And the dialogue is thus far really kind of told you a lot about his character without at least the background.
Yeah.
There's a continuity error there.
The painting.
The painting is missing a splotch in the middle, whereas in the last scene the dress was completely red. Oh well. And that says even more about his character, right?
He's a little antagonistic.
And no handshake.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what kind of sheriff actually says this? You know?
Well,
I guess small town.
oh, yeah. Just like the names.
Right.
The titles. They're so evocative.
They are. Like, I want to read them.
Yeah.
And it's setting up for kind of a whodunit or a noir
Yeah.
thriller kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like, this could have easily gone down a different road
Right.
with the same setup.
Yeah. And a secrets in a small town
Right,
type
right,
of idea.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this little cloak
Go ahead.
put over the idea here. It's like we're just touching. I was like, he's probably keeping something from the rest of the family. So it starts shading his character. I like how they shade his character so much. That he's not an upfront, outright, altruistic type of guy. He's a little subversive. He's controversial. He's shady in some places, trying to get to where he wants to get to so he can get another bestseller.
Right. And that scene right there is great because she says, "Tell me we didn't move in a few houses down." And he goes, "We didn't. I promise."
Oh, no, not a few houses down. No,
No, you're in it, bitch. Which,
Oh, yeah. And
if-
then
but between-
this shot. This is it. That's what sells it.
there it is.
They
Between
don't let it hang for the audience too long. You get a little sprinkled here, and it's like, oh, okay.
right, like the Dalton,
Fuck you, pal.
the point with extremely bad taste
Yeah.
says one thing, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And then he lies to his wife, and then the cut tree, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Now we gotta get the whole landscape here.
Right, and we're only, what, 8 minutes in
Yeah.
or something?
Roughly, yeah.
I don't know why there's a scorpion in the ceiling, but, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They're in Pennsylvania. Does Pennsylvania have scorpions? I feel like they don't.
Probably not. They shot this in Long Island, apparently.
Well, Long Island doesn't have scorpions either.
Which, again, as the film develops itself, it tips itself off to something other than something that's natural.
Well, sure, but
Yeah.
I think he lifted it up and
Oh, yeah.
saw the dead. There, right there, is the dead remnants of a scorpion.
Yeah, oh, yucko.
I mean,
I
they're
don't
not.
want to scrape that up.
No, they're not in Sedona. They're in
Oh, yeah.
Pennsylvania. That would be an incredible find, by the way, if you were
Oh, yeah.
looking in your attic in your new house.
In a place where a supposed crime took place.
Right.
It's like, whoa, ho, ho, ho.
Well, especially because the very first scene told us that there was 8mm footage
Right.
of whatever
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. It's all for. This thing's so economical in that regard. It's like it's just giving you all the information up front to put the pieces together without having to explain it all.
That's good filmmaking, is what that
right.
is. Her red hair is amazing. And the long hair is amazing on that one.
Oh, yeah.
I love these kids.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she's got an accent.
Oh, yeah.
That's weird. We're watching in with very, very little volume,
Uh-huh.
and I had forgotten that she has an accent.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, how can he say, "Oh, I want to look at this footage that I found in the
yeah.
in the attic,"
Yeah.
that might indicate something to do with the
Further-
crime scene that
we're
is
sleeping in.
That we're sleeping in, right? Am I remembering correctly? You can spoil it because
Sure, yeah.
everyone's already watched this.
Yeah.
Am I remembering correctly that he was not actually the author of one of these films or one of these books?
I don't know that that's a thing. I
Oh.
believe there's a point. I mean, just thing they dropped it was like no one likes my fiction. Apparently, I believe there's a thing is like he tried going off from the true crime stuff to be much more of a fiction writer, and it didn't hit.
Like,
so he's going back because I think the thing is that he bombed on the last book.
Okay.
So now he's kind of desperate to get the next hit so he can kind of rebound financially and everything.
Because she's saying that the first one was good, his 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
Dalton Thompson, sheriff, said
You got the next one wrong.
That-
the other one
that-
after one, I
that
don't
first
agree with
one,
that.
right? First one was a great piece of
Yeah.
writing. I don't know why I was remembering then that maybe he didn't actually write that one. You know what I mean?
I don't
That's
believe
not a
that's
thing in this
I don't
movie.
believe
All right.
so.
I know there are movies out there where that's the thing.
Sure.
You know. We've probably covered one, and I'm just misremembering because
Possibly.
I'm
Yeah.
not very good at remembering things. Like, she's already threatening to leave. Like, what kind of marriage do they really have?
Yeah, it's like he's probably got him into a few dodgy. This is not the first time they've moved in the vicinity for
Right.
him to do the research and anything like that. So it's like she's trying to go as much good faith as possible, but
Right.
you're skating a little on the thin ice.
Well, we've got this little command center here that I love.
This is your shit right here.
You know it is. I like pictures and push pins and maps and string and
You like the sweater too, man?
yeah.
It's got it. I think I recall. I don't know for certain, but it's like I feel like that sweater helped him get to the character. I feel like it.
Little cardigan.
Every so often, there's just sometimes like a particular piece of costuming
Yeah.
that clicks into place. That you slide it on, you start feeling the character, and I don't think he takes the damn thing off for almost the entire film.
I tell you what, that can be true because as somebody who is a diehard avid Kiss fan,
Sure.
and I have a Kiss costume.
Yeah.
when I put on those platform boots,
Oh yeah, straight.
it just the boots, like it literally changes your entire persona. And like I get it, like, and it's literally one article of clothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why a cardigan would be, you know, the catalyst for anything, but apparently it was.
It does have kind of the studious author feel to it. It feels like
Yeah.
the guy is kind of isolated himself out in a specific area, just like if King goes off to his place in the mountains or something else like that, like he did back in the day. It feels like, I'm just going to wrap myself in this. I'm going to be alone for weeks, working on this thing, cramming it out.
I could also see Professor, though,
Yeah,
which is kind of like
Yeah.
the complementary inverse
Right.
to the secluded author.
Yeah. He's like, oh, ho, ho, ho.
Well, that was a quick cut, a hot splice, as it were. I love the sawing, right? Like, because you kind of the orange tree saw, you see it moving in that first shot, and then again here, and you're like, wait, what is that? And then you realize somebody's cutting this branch from out of frame.
Yeah.
Who is it? Is it the little girl? Because she's the only one not present. And what a mindfuck that is. That, like, the youngest one is the one doing the murdering.
Breaking out the bourbon.
Well,
He's got a big old jug of it, too.
he sure does. Let's watch that again.
Let's watch some more.
Fuck, rewind. Who made the film? Great question. Who knows how to edit film together, splice it, right? Where's the little girl? I assume that's her name, Stephanie. Yeah. Better have another drink.
Yeah, it's going up.
There it is. Cheers. That was a big gulp.
Oh, yeah. It's going hard on it tonight.
Yeah. And that's just the first reel.
Oh, yeah, he's just getting warmed up, man.
Why would you film it is a great question, and leave evidence. You see what I'm saying, though, about how this could have not had a supernatural twist, and just been like a strong,
Seven-esque sort of crime
thriller,
investigative thriller,
yeah, and I love those. I know you do too. You know, a movie like a Manhunter that you like. You know, something like that feel.
Haven't got to yet. There is a small Manhunter sort of nod in the film that...
In here?
In here somewhere. There's like a point of view... It might be one of the reels he looks to was like... There's one where it's like someone's actually... You're seeing the point of view and someone's got a flashlight moving through the house, just like at the beginning of Manhunter.
Oh, okay.
And they mentioned that in their own commentary on the desk.
Well, okay, so they mentioned in the commentary that they nodded to Manhunter?
Yeah.
AKA Red Dragon was the novel?
Yeah.
Well, that really pisses me off.
Why?
Because my biggest gripe about Black Phone is related to that. And I will save it for the next movie.
Okay, well...
Love that. She turns the wrong way because it's a new house. She doesn't know where she's going.
Yeah.
It's raining on your horse.
Yeah, it's...
Although I don't know if I like all the blue rain all over everything.
Yeah, that's the one thing that kind of...
It's like drippy and...
Feels like it tips it off that there's something maybe a little...
Off-putting.
going on in the aura of things.
As somebody who fancies himself a writer,
Sure.
even as a hobby, I often think about how big of an undertaking it would be to write a nonfiction book.
Oh, just
Like how much time doing research do you have to dedicate prior to even having an idea of how you want to structure your book?
Yeah.
Let alone beginning to type words.
Yeah.
Like I feel like typing words is
the last thing you do.
so late in the process.
Yeah.
Like way late.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how you get from 0 to 60, you know?
Yeah.
It might take years.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Mm.
I have no idea what's going on. All I know is it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Just the imagery of the chains around the car until we get to the
The flammables.
the people tied up in the back seat.
Yeah. Like, you know what's coming.
The imagery around the chains and the car alone, because it's so unusual.
Yeah.
Like, I wish that I could come up with something half as creative as that.
Oh, and then seeing that, Jesus.
I love seeing it in the reflection in his glasses. Like, the imagery,
He's all out.
the metaphor of, seeing it in the eyeglasses where
Yeah.
he's watching it, but we're watching
Getting
it.
his reaction as it happens.
We're seeing him seeing through his sight. I don't know. It's just a very specific film choice.
Yeah.
And it's perfect. Great office too, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I like the design of it.
Whoever
totally.
installed these shelves, like, how do you walk into a house that already has this setup?
Oh, yeah.
He said county police.
I didn't catch it.
Like, that's
Yeah, there you go. King County.
King County Police. So in this case, it does make sense that there's a sheriff.
Yes.
In my previous commentaries, I've griped that sheriff is not a small town designation.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a unincorporated / county-wide.
Yeah.
Like counties have sheriffs, not
Yeah.
towns. And in this case, this is correct. They've correctly done it. Nice job, Derrickson. What a dilemma this is, right? Like, he has to call the police
Yeah.
to say, I'm in possession of evidence
Yes.
that he can, like,
Right.
they're going to take it.
Especially after he's talked to the sheriff, it's like, the station's closed off to you. They're closed ranks. He hands the stuff over. He ain't hearing no peep about it ever again until it shows up on the news.
right.
His inroad to getting the bestseller to kind of salvage his career is gone.
Yeah, right. And therefore, the dilemma of, do I keep it and,
The morality of it all.
the morality of keeping the evidence away from the police,
Right.
or doing the right thing, but now I no longer have access to anything that helps me in my book.
Yeah.
Like, what would you choose? I'm not showing it to anybody. You know what I mean? They can have it when I'm done. And he's hearing noises, right? That's what we're getting
Yeah.
at. It's a new house noise. You got to get used
A
to
little
it.
bit.
You just got to get used to the house sounds.
Yeah.
Foundation settling, wind,
Yeah.
ghosts in the attic, whatever, whatever you happen to find yourself situated in. Ghost boxes in the foyer. That was a great reaction, right?
Yeah. He's already... It's just... It's the same thing. It's like...
Oh, shit.
I mean, it's the same reaction. It's like if you're watching a movie like this at like midnight and you start walking around the house, your imagination is just going to take over.
Right.
And he's watching the stuff that's real. He ain't watching no fiction.
And now it's his own son.
Yeah.
With great fucking hair.
Yeah.
That's got to be terrifying as a parent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the kid packed himself in a box.
Yeah, probably sleepwalking, night terrors, like they said. Uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
I want to tell you something, but it might lead to a divorce.
Well, she'd get the fuck out of there in a minute.
See, there you go. That's the writer in him. He says, I really want to tell you something. And she says, what is it? And he just says, I'm sorry. So, again...
He's way more sorry than you think he is.
He's not lying
No.
to you. He's never lied thus far. He's just omitted the truth.
He's about 0.01% of the idea of what's going on here.
Right. Just withholding the truth is not necessarily lying. He's answered all questions accurately.
It's not completely.
Right. Truthfully and completely are not mutually exclusive. No. Little food fight never hurt anybody. Like, what does she do for work? Nothing? Like, they're just living off his book money? I don't know that to be the case,
Yeah,
but...
they haven't made it a part of dialogue.
I just think, for somebody who is as assertive as her character seems to be, it seems like she would
have a career.
Right, exactly. If nothing else, because her possible lack of confidence in her husband would say,
stability.
Right, I need a backup plan here.
Yeah.
Pool party. Was it 86 or something like that?
Yeah, this is evocative of Manhunter as well. All the films that Dollar Hot was watching, obsessing over.
Look at that, duct tape to the chairs and the ropes. Fuck me.
Just like
waterboarding.
Any one piece of this would be creepy, but you compound it with all these other elements like Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not scary, it's terrifying. Like, it's a elaborately premeditative act. And then this shit shows up.
Oh, fuck. And
he's like, what the living fuck have I got myself into?
I mean, at this point, yeah, call the movers, because...
But he hasn't cracked himself yet.
What a great pause.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could really pause. You can't, right? Because of the light?
Well, that's going to show up here shortly.
I mean, when I was working in the projection industry,
Yeah.
it was, I don't want to say common, but it's a common thing in film where if there's some sort of malfunction on the film, the platter system,
Yeah.
and it causes things to grind to a halt,
Yeah.
whatever frame happens to be in front of that light bulb
Yeah.
gets burned through.
Yeah.
Because the light bulb's like many hundreds of degrees.
Right. I'm curious today if the film projectors, they use LEDs now, that would become less of a problem instead of the old incandescents where they used back in the day.
Right. They were very special bulbs. They were, between $600 and $1,000 per bulb. And you had to be extremely careful when you were changing the bulb.
It burned the fuck out of you.
Well, you had to wait for it to cool, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm saying when you're putting in the new one, oftentimes...
You don't want to get the oil from your hands.
Oftentimes we'd wear gloves so that the oil didn't leave a fingerprint.
Similar to when you're also doing a halogen.
Right. And so if there was a fingerprint on the bulb and it heated up,
burn up.
It could
Fuse on there.
Blow the bulb. Right. So they were very hot. It's very interesting to think about the idea of LED projector bulbs, but nobody uses film anymore. It's all digital. So
yeah, I mean, when you're doing a Nolan or Tarantino screen, they've got the 70 millimeter prints and everything.
Sure.
I mean, it's rare and everything, but still.
It'd be interesting to see if they've converted.
Yeah.
I imagine they have, and I imagine in that case,
They're
the
probably
LED bulb
lasting bulbs too.
It would not. Well, sure, it wouldn't burn through the frame.
Yeah, that's my thing.
We had a log sheet on the back of every projector
Of when you changed it.
Right, there was like an odometer
Okay.
on each projector, and it showed you the amount of time, and so you could kind of tell after X amount of hours
Yeah.
it was time to change the bulb,
yeah.
and we would log it. Yes, that's correct. Alphabets that have vitamin D. Very good. That's very responsible parenting to have some vitamin D in your alphabets. I don't understand why she has so much vitriol against her husband's career. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And clearly she knows what she was signing up for.
Yeah. I mean, all you really mainly have to go against right now is how he's handling this situation. To know maybe how some of the other ones went in the past, and maybe he was more forthright with how he went about things in the past, and it caused more friction. Well, now he's trying to be a little bit more reserved in what he's revealing about the whole thing, because he's gone way right up against the edge of this entire thing.
The past is the past. You can't change that.
Yeah.
So yes, is he being slightly nefarious about the current circumstances? Sure.
Because the other ones...
Now...
Even just the situation alone, yeah. If you're going to move in the house where the freaking crimes took place... I doubt the wife would be on board with it no matter what the wife is.
Well, I understand that. But however, neither of them, even if she knew that this was the case, neither of them would have been under the impression that there was a supernatural element.
Right.
If it was...
Yeah.
Let's go back to your Amityville story.
Sure, yeah.
And DeFeo
Yeah.
murdered
Yeah.
this family.
It's a real deal.
It actually happened.
Yeah.
Somebody moving into that house, isn't going to assume it's haunted.
No.
They're just going to say,
well,
bad things happened here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I would have a problem with that. Moving into a house where bad stuff happened.
Sure.
Because it's not happening to me now.
Right.
It happened before, and now I'm here.
Sure. Yeah, this is the whole part that I feel is the Manhunter vibe or whatnot with the walking through the house. Oh, this is just great. This is a great shot. I mean,
right, where he
he needs more.
He just needs to numb it, right?
Yeah.
And real quick here, how brilliant was it for him to take his own camera and video the video?
Yeah.
So that
he has a stable record of it.
Even if then he does turn it over, he still has access to it. So that's good.
Yeah. And that's why because as he paused one before and it burned up the film, now he can go frame by frame.
Right, exactly. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. On certain levels, he's smart. The other ones,
maybe
debatable on the social scales with the family.
Right. I guess his moral compass is not so straight.
Yes.
But
savvy with the tech.
Right. And this is just a Blu-ray copy we're watching.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because it really does look crisp.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine a 4K being crisper.
Yeah, they haven't done one that I'm not on disc anywhere.
His facials are
he's
really good.
Super emotive and getting, I mean, just the rawness, the fret.
Right. He's both repulsed and intrigued.
Yeah.
And it's the car crash, you can't look away from it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
St. Louis.
I mean,
which feels like another Manhunter thing, because I think the ending of the film takes place near St. Louis. That's where Dollar Hyde's laboratory they worked for, Gateway Films.
That's correct. It was in St. Louis. You're right.
I watched the film recently.
I did.
I've watched it tons of times.
Right. I just rewatched it recently. And a young boy abducted. I think this is an interesting twist, where you have now multiple families murdered with one missing.
Yeah.
That's a great concept.
Yeah.
Where did they go? Mm-hmm. Are they all together somewhere?
Is it a cult? Is it some sort of abduction scenario?
Right, but it's so far away. How could they be related?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It goes bouncing. Serial killers are all very localized. No one
usually
bouncing all over the entire country.
Right, I mean,
stuff.
like Ted Bundy
years apart, too.
Right.
Because they have stuff, eventually, you have stuff that goes back decades on this whole thing, so...
You got the old cell phone flashlight gimmick.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that in our last commentary about who uses an actual flashlight anymore.
Yeah.
Granted, that one was set in the 70s or 80s. Nobody had a cell phone, but...
Yeah.
These movies... They kind of condition you to, like, especially in these dark scenes, to be on the lookout for
visual clues.
Right, like other things lurking in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, it's created an unease.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not only just worried for the guy's character in the dark, but, like, you have the anxiety of, like, what else is going to jump out?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, the film uses darkness, like enveloping darkness, persistently.
And really well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of films that are dark and unnecessarily...
And don't have enough contrast either these days.
Right. But these are great use of lighting.
Yeah.
I know that that's kind of what we were just saying, but when you have a lot of darkness, the lighting really matters.
Yeah. I believe that they shot this mainly on digital, aside from the actual snuff films.
Right.
So that allows them to do a lot more with minimal lighting.
Ooh, speaking of snuff films.
Faces of Darkness and Death or something?
No. When's the last time you saw 8mm?
I haven't.
Oh my God. 8mm is a delight. I recommend 8mm to anybody out there.
Nick Cage, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
I mean, that's talent right there.
I think you'd dig it. The subject matter is a little sketchy, but it's...
I mean, Schumacher taking 180 from Batman and Robin like hell. It's like, I'm going to show you I could actually do some shit here.
Right. Now, 8mm is... that's a piece of work. Some early Gandolfini in that one, too.
Oh, there
Pre-Sopranos.
He was always great. Just fucking terrified, man. I love it. He's so good with the body language.
He really is. And
just that kind of nervous kind of tick or whatnot. Just twitchiness.
It's so crazy to me to think about somebody that's a good actor, because like I feel like myself, I could probably do a great job of acting once.
Sure, yeah. Put it all in there.
The minute that they say we have to do it again, to me it just feels fake. You know what I mean? Like, it's real the first time.
There are times when I'm shooting a video, it's like, oh, I keep messing up this or messing up that, and I do it like 20 times, like, I can't keep fucking doing this, man. It sounds like I'm reading from a script. It doesn't sound natural, so I got to take a break and come back at it later.
And there's a great story out there, and I don't remember who it was that told it, about, I think it was whoever was the DP on A Few Good Men.
Alrighty.
And it was the Nicholson sitting in the chair, the speech scene, right?
The moment.
And they asked him if he wanted to do like the close-up first to get it, whatever. Yeah. And he said, ooh, snake. Love a snake. That's a coral snake, too. He said, it didn't matter, we can do all the other shots first if you want. And apparently he gave that exact performance like 9 times in a row, and then did his, and it was exactly the same. And they were like, this guy is the proest pro.
That's why he's Jack. That's why he gets to sit up front at the Oscars with the sunglasses.
Well, not anymore, because he's super old. But look at this shit.
At least he's at least back at the Lakers games.
Mr. Boogie.
Yeah, like sometimes their actors, like, they come at it right out the gate and then they kind of taper off. Some of our actors have to build up after a couple of takes and then they get there.
Right. So that's one of those things where you have to have compatibility.
Yeah.
So, sometimes, like, somebody really likes to rehearse and somebody likes no rehearsal.
Oh, yeah. I've mentioned before on Event Horizon, Sam Neill was one way and Larry Fishburne was the other way, so they had to try to find a way to intersect where one was kind of going up and one was kind of tapering down.
Right.
And find where they could meet in the middle.
What are the odds that he fell through right into the hallway?
Right into the plaster, yeah.
Right in the hallway. But how crazy is it to find the little drawings of all of the crimes that you've just watched the video of?
It's getting fucking crazy now.
And now, Mr. Boogie, was that... Okay, so is that our midpoint? Are we at...
Movie's hour 50.
Okay, so we're not...
Only about 10 minutes from there. Give or take.
I don't remember this guy's name, but...
James Ransome.
That's it. He was in It.
Yeah.
I feel like the revelation of, quote, Mr. Boogie is a good midpoint.
Yeah.
Now, mathematically, we're not quite there, so I'm interested to see what actually is the midpoint.
I have a feeling what might be there. We'll see how it progresses. Yeah, I'm guessing this is all a set, considering they broke through the ceiling and everything like that.
Right.
It's a good art direction. I mean, like the parquet floor or whatever the hell they call it. That's this stuff. My sister hated it so much in her place she tore it all up.
What a line, right? He goes, well, scorpions have feet. And earlier he said snakes don't have feet.
Yeah.
So, like, clearly he's just a bumbling cop, right? Who's nervous because he's meeting a celebrity.
He's a little bit on the fanboyish side.
Yeah. My God. Like, this cop is kind of an idiot, right?
Yeah. Well, the sheriff probably sent him particularly because we don't really want to deal with this guy. Well, some of the guy was all shined up about him as it is already.
He doesn't have a notepad. Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, there we go. Just think of that.
Why would, like, Ethan Hawke really wanted him to leave this room. And
now he's got an ally.
well, right.
Somebody can kind of call up the other departments and get a few details. Because if a cop is calling another agent, another station or whatnot, another precinct or whatever you want to call it, it's a lot more open. But if he starts calling them up, trying to get things, they might close ranks like the sheriff did here.
Right.
He can be a polarizing figure, so it's a nice addition to the story to kind of progress the investigation, how it can expand and move on.
Well, we were presented with an obstacle, and now we're given a way around it. Like,
yeah.
And the wife kind of face turning a little bit here
Yeah.
is nice. Good door.
Yeah.
They did a good job of kind of de-aging him, right?
Oh, yeah.
He looks so much... even the facial hair.
Yeah.
And the...
With the VHS distortion and everything, it really helps to kind of just smooth it over.
Right, the 1978 haircut.
Yeah. Something.
His reaction there is perfect.
Proud of himself.
Well, yeah, but
shining it on.
Yeah, but he also...
Because he wants to feel like he's on their same level.
Right.
He's doing the same quality of work they're doing.
Or better.
Yeah.
Who would... Do you really think anybody would go back and watch their own footage like this? Because I feel like most people don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
I feel like with him right now, he's just trying to recenter himself about what he felt about himself. I mean, also the fact he's got a freaking archive of this shit. Shows maybe he likes to kind of shine up his own ego every so often.
Well, his ego's been kind of deflated as he goes along.
Yeah, so right now, I think it's more just like trying to recapture the idea of why he was doing it in the first place, despite the fact it does have that self-serving, egocentric error to it all.
And you're right, he's not divorced himself from this cardigan the entire time.
No, God, no.
That is such an unsettling image.
I mean, they put all over the freaking TV spots and everything on the film.
Like for the trailers and stuff for this?
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate because that kind of spoils it, no?
Oh,
it does. It's the very first scene, yeah, but still.
I mean, just a tad. You should not sitting there for half the movie waiting for it to happen and knowing it's coming.
Well, right.
That's the thing.
That's the reason I don't watch trailers.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Which, I know I've probably mentioned before, but the ultimate sin, well, there's two. The one that I always go back to, which I've now started calling it McCool's Rule because of a stupid comedy called One Night at McCool's.
I'm aware of it, yeah.
That came out, God, I don't even know, 15, 20 years ago now. I think it starred Paul Reiser, if I'm not mistaken. And there is a very famous scene in the trailer that really hooks you and gets you into it. And that scene is the very last scene in the movie that, like, right before they roll credits.
There's been a couple of horror films like, oh, that's the last shot in the movie, and they centered the entire marketing campaign around it.
And then the other one,
fuck you.
The other one was the movie Quarantine, starring what's her name that was on Dexter, who I loved, and she's the star of the movie. And literally, the image they put on the poster
is the night vision shot. She gets pulled away out of the shot.
It's the poster art.
Yeah,
and it's the last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
I was so mad.
Give a rat's ass
I
about
was
your
so
expectations.
Pissed.
Marketing don't give a fuck, man.
So I guess it's one thing, but it's such a beautiful shot of the four hanging bodies. It's such a waste to even show you that and cock tease you.
I don't know. There might have been even a poster with it on it. God knows.
I mean, I get it. It's the first scene of the movie. It's a setup. Yeah. Whatever. I love oh, look at the turning of the yeah. Oh, fuck, that's great. So
it's like, oh shit.
So the family that one of these families previously lived in the house where the one before happened. Is that the idea?
That's the hanging one, yes.
Oh, so the hanging people previously lived in the St. Louis house.
The hanging people lived in this house.
Right, but they previously lived somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing.
That's the hook. Everyone
attaches it as a chain.
Right, everyone lived in the house before.
Yeah.
Which then means that they're the victims.
It attaches itself onto the next family that comes in and moves around with it.
Right, because they now are moving into the house where the previous one happened, so therefore they're the next victims.
Yeah.
Is the hook.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it links. So the family that died in St. Louis had previously lived in the Sacramento address, and so on and so forth backwards. Mm-hmm. Great hook.
Yeah.
Great. All great.
Well, it's up on your board with all the string and everything.
Right.
It's got to link together.
It's perfect. I wish I was smart enough to write something that like reverse engineer this kind of great
chain reaction deal.
Yeah. Anything, really.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah, I've said before, I can't figure that stuff out. I can't web a mystery together, really.
You really do have to just kind of start at the end.
Yeah.
And then work backwards.
Yes.
Work to the front.
Yes.
But
because if you start with the idea at the beginning, what the inkling of the mystery is, you're just riding into a void. You don't know where the fuck you're going.
Right. I do think it's possible to have a starting point and an ending point and connect them in the middle.
Sure.
But you have to have the end to work backwards.
Yeah.
That's a really terrifying bad guy.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, it almost kind of looks like the Black Phone bad guy.
Not too far off, yeah.
But it also is kind of, it's got a little, like, crowish, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, look, he's using a real flashlight.
Yeah. I mean, Cargill's original sort of like genesis was this is after he watched the Gore Verbinski version of The Ring, he had a nightmare about him going up in the attic, finding those types of films and seeing the hanging thing in his nightmare.
How does that happen? That never happens.
More
right?
or less. I mean, that's what he says, but you can see, like, okay, kind of the long, dark, greasy hair type of thing from the Japanese horde,
sure.
J-horde stuff. It's a little in the mix of the design there, too. It's showing a little bit of the genesis.
Again, terrifying from a parent standpoint.
Oh, yeah. It's like you don't want to put a padlock on the kid's door. That's
well, right. That's a whole different. That's a whole different level of bad parenting.
That's
Where'd you come from?
It's more about where it wants to go from here. Ripping right through your throat.
It's a beautiful dog.
Dogs like that are why I scared the shit out of dogs.
Oh, look at that. Look at the kitties.
And so we've passed our halfway point.
So you thought that the kids were the halfway, the midpoint?
I'm just noticing it and...
Maybe it was the moving face in the video.
Possibly, yeah.
I wish we had a timestamp that.
About 3-4 minutes ago.
Yeah, so that would have been almost perfect. I'm a mess. You're a mess. Everyone's a mess. He just throws the paper towel on the counter. Oh boy, here we go.
Uh-huh.
This is, yeah, he's really...
Yeah, he's all on the edge of this thing.
It's almost like he's chasing the fame.
Yeah, well, again, the whole thing, like, he's got an archive of all his video, all his interviews from TV.
They're right.
It shows
There's a narcissistic.
Our narcissism about the whole thing. He likes eating it up. I mean, he could easily go off and maybe do seminars, speaking engagements about this type of thing, instead of trying to crack the story, but he's a little on the dopamine hit for it.
A little nod there to Cujo. He got a Cujo shout out. As we record this, just recently, King came out with a book of short stories, one of which was a sequel to Cujo, 40 years later. And
that dog ain't alive no more.
No, it has nothing to do with dogs.
Okay.
It really could have been not a Cujo story, a sequel. Could have just been anybody. But the link to Cujo with the, tortured soul of a parent kind of thing really lended itself well to the story told. So I guess if there was any adaptation that it could have been linked to, Cujo was a perfectly fine one.
Thematic.
Yeah, and thematic. But it's a more supernatural story.
Sure.
And I dug it.
All right.
So again, it's like, is this guy really actually caring, or does he just want to be linked to the, the author?
Yeah.
Like, he's also on a hunt for fame.
A little bit, yeah.
And a career boost and a...
Yeah. Freaky people in masks.
Yeah. What? I'm so fascinated by the big board.
Oh yeah.
And I'm also curious, obviously this isn't a thing, but like the conversations that this cop is having with his superiors.
Oh.
Like,
who are you calling about all this shit for?
Right, like clearly Hawke was told, we're not helping you.
Yeah.
So, is this guy in trouble for helping him?
Mm.
I feel like police time is logged, right? Like,
yeah.
So, maybe not to the minute, but you know what I mean? Like, like, he's clearly on duty.
Yeah.
So, his whereabouts probably have to be reported.
Uh-huh. He's getting faxes in and all this other stuff here and there. It's like, someone's going to catch on to it at the department.
Now, this one also says 86, which is interesting. Because there's two from 86? And this is a new one that we've not seen before, right?
I believe so.
Like, how is it... It can't be the first time he's also watching it, right?
I believe we're seeing things as he's seeing them.
Right, but we're like weeks in at this point, aren't we?
The wife said it's only been a week.
All right, well, fine. Why didn't he watch every video that first night? I guess because he's terrified?
You're going to want to watch all this in one night?
Well, yes. Yes.
Sure.
Do you know me at all?
Well.
Yes, it's terrifying. This is thematic because it's literally raining outside where we're sitting right now. So this is kind of creepy.
You get a
little pitter-patter of rain.
Little spatial audio.
Yeah, this is good. It's like surround sound.
Yeah, this one's fucking, oh my god.
Well, it was called Lawn Work, I think, or something like that.
No. This one.
I forget what the video was called, but it was also 86. And why? I'm confused. Oh, running over the face.
Oh, yeah. Fuck me. Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's like Sleepaway Camp 2, I think is what it was.
That was one.
Maybe it was 3, I don't know.
This one's much more effective.
Yes, agreed. Right.
Woo! Just the escalation of it, of its deteriorated state.
Well, right.
It's all the move. It's everything here.
It's going along, right? And you don't know what the lawnmower is going toward.
Yeah. You're not expecting this shit.
And you only see the body a second.
Yeah, that little stinger they throw in here is like, holy Jesus Christ.
I just don't know why you wouldn't have documented and recorded all of these videos immediately instead of focusing on one and then one and then one and then one.
Enough for you.
I forget what his name was in Full Metal Jacket.
Oh.
Okay, so how do you feel about this thing in a movie where
you go to the expert that they gotta
the expert
catch you up on what's going on?
Right. There's always a point, not always, but a lot of times there's a point where the character seeks out the help of the expert, and then the expert just suddenly fills in all these storyline plots.
Sure.
That make you go, oh. Like, I don't know. I kind of don't like it.
I mean, I'm thankful for the information that we get.
Right. Agreed.
But there are ways to make it a lot better of a scene.
But also, like, I understand that it's a logical progression of the story.
Yeah.
Like, he is seeking out all avenues of clarity.
Yeah.
And asking an expert about certain things, is fine. I almost feel like this guy is providing too much information back. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel
there's too much specific information being given back that's convenient for the story.
Well, I feel like a good way of doing it is that you don't just introduce the character just to do one thing.
Right. Like, we needed to see this guy.
Introduce them to have a little bit more generality of a character or integration into the story to a certain degree.
So, okay, I'm going to suggest an alternate idea here. Mm-hmm. Perhaps we see him reach out to this specialist with the symbol, and the guy says, "Oh yeah, that's a pentagram. There's more to this. I'll get back to you."
Yeah.
Like, here's 2 pieces of information up front, and I owe you 4 more. And then we get this scene, and he explains more.
That'd be good.
I feel like that would have been a much more digestible progression of events.
Yeah.
As opposed to this tidal wave
up to it a little bit.
Tidal wave of lore that we're supposed to just accept.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's too quick and too, like, it's a left turn.
Right.
And I don't know. It's a little off-putting.
I mean, as I just covered the movie Fallen, they have a character in the film that has an...
I love the imagery of the hanging on him,
But like in the movie Fallen that I just covered, they at least have a character who's integrated into the overall story, overall backstory, all the type of stuff. Is very much a character central to what's going on, and then she eventually gives you more information and leads on that she knows more than she does. So you kind of get a progression of character and stuff like that. She's a character foremost, and then she gives the audience and the main character information that benefits how the story progresses from there. Instead of just being a character that just dumps the exposition,
right?
And that's all they're there for. So I get your point.
Is Fallen, the movie you just covered, available in the archives right now?
Yeah,
is that available to stream anywhere, or do you know?
I'm sure it's somewhere. Yeah. You might have to rent it or whatnot.
I admit that I didn't watch your video because I wanted to rewatch the movie first.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I haven't, oh fuck! And I haven't,
Yeah, at this point you'd have to rent it somewhere.
Okay.
So it's not available.
So I wanted to refresh my memory. I've only seen it the once.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been when it was new in the theater.
Sure.
It was late 90s, right?
98.
98. So I would have watched it probably new. I don't think I've seen it since. So I remember really liking it.
Mm-hmm.
I just never went back to it. So I want to watch it first before I get your...
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this whole sequence is fucking creepy, man.
Well, the reason it's creepy is because the logic is if these ghost children are running around unbeknownst to him,
Yeah.
then what kind of ghost entities are running around in my room unbeknownst to me right now?
Right.
Great makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look at him. Look at the sweat.
Yeah, the grease going on.
Also a great makeup.
Yeah.
And that never gets any credit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people think of the makeup, they think of the bad guy, they think of the burn victims, they think of the,
the gore.
The gore. But the people that have, red puffy eyes or sweat or like that is such a great production value that is so unsung. Love this. Love that all the kids are wearing pajamas too.
And the fact they're shooting it all a little bit of a slow motion.
And how unsettling is it that the projector always runs by itself? And he still has that look of, this is impossible.
Yeah.
One last double check to make sure my kids are actually asleep and not fucking with me. Wow.
It just gets worse and worse.
Wow.
Yeah, just, whoa.
Why are there 9 locks on that door? That doesn't make any sense. I like this shot too.
Yeah.
This, the idea that he's like, he just doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So he kind of just collapses. Like he's got exhaustion, he has confusion.
Yeah. All this
terror.
All this terror is just fucking with his mind so much. He doesn't know if his mind's playing tricks on him, if there's something more otherworldly going on. He can't wrap his head around any of it because he's liquored up.
Sure.
He's probably not sleeping very well. I mean, you ain't getting no 8 hours off of this shit.
And what a great time lapse that was with the sun.
That had been all just a lighting scheme they did outside the set or something like that, I bet.
Right. Like, you see that little orange light and you're like, what is that? And then you realize that that's the passage of time.
The little dolly shot over.
Yeah. What
wonderful little piece.
Great filmmaking.
And see, he didn't pack that up and put it there. That thing was all wrapped up with film and...
Right. Why does he always look like he's afraid for his life?
The fact he cleaned himself up, but he still looks frazzled. The hair's a little shuffled up a little bit. He's still a little edgy.
Right. He's disheveled, but not as bad as he was,
the night before,
a few hours ago.
Yeah.
Ransom there.
Yeah.
Ransome,
I think.
Oh yeah, it's an N, not an M. He looks.
He's a little weirded out.
Right, like everything is weird for him.
Yeah.
And like it's beyond starstruck. Right? Like.
I mean,
I don't buy him as a cop. You know what I mean?
Doesn't have the mentality for it. No.
No.
I mean, I can get like, okay, he was a big fan of Kentucky Blood, which is probably like a straight true crime novel.
Right.
However you want to classify it. Straight true crime. And that fascinates him because he's a cop. But now we're dealing with stuff that seems like it's a cult type of shit that it's really weird. It's not what I really signed up for. But now he's kind of knee deep in it. And now he's asking about weird fucking off the wall shit. I mean, at least Ransome's character gives a little bit of levity when the film is getting like fucking heavy. You need a little breathing room.
I don't know if the breathing room should come at the expense of a character that doesn't act like his character.
Possibly, yeah.
You know, I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
There's just something wrong. There's something wrong about the character. And I can't. I just don't think he's a good cop.
Sure.
I get that he's young. I get that he's trying to get on the good side of the celebrity. I think he's trying to do his job, but I go ahead.
It would be nice to have a little cheddar from the other cops. Like if Ellison here, he got cross paths with another one of the more like straight up cops in the entire thing.
Sure.
And there's kind of maybe like a talking behind his back type of thing. The other cop's kind of like
behind this cop's back.
Yeah.
Okay.
This thing like if you had another run in with one of the more straight up cops in the entire thing, and they mention offhand that he's been dealing with this deputy, and they have bad things to say about him, or they kind of snicker out at the name of him, like, oh, this guy, he's a bit of a joke in the department, or something else like that. A little more context, I think, would kind of ease it in a little bit more.
He just seems like I don't believe it. I don't buy it. But even though he's saying the right cop things,
Sure.
he doesn't have the cop demeanor that I feel like he needs to have.
He doesn't have the backbone, is what you're calling it.
I guess, yeah.
You just expect when you see a cop, they have a certain weight about how they carry themselves, and there's a certain confidence or assertiveness in how they handle a situation. They carry authority with them. And now he's drawn pictures of the shit that I've been looking at on these films, and it's, oh boy. Oh boy. Now we're gonna have it out.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Sweater ain't gonna save you.
Nope. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was...
Oh, Lord.
That's correct.
The semantics are getting to you now.
Yes, I love semantics. Words matter.
Oh, geez, for fuck's sake. It's like, oh, it's just not that bad. It was over there.
Right.
It's over there. It's fine over there.
Right. You remember that broken tree you just planted flowers by?
Oh, my God. He's just digging himself like he's already 6 feet in.
Yes. Of course it did. That's correct. What difference does it matter? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, just the fact that where it's come to now is like one kid's having night terrors about the entire place, the other one's making all these everything.
Right,
the kids
but
look disturbed now, so
that's
like
correct.
You allowed this stuff to continue on without saying anything or doing anything about it.
Right,
so you're culpable for the entire thing.
But all of that has nothing to do with what happened before.
Right.
You know what I mean?
From their perspective, yes.
Right.
But it's just...
And I get that this is exactly the conversation that would happen.
This is entirely authentic.
Right. 100%.
I'm your wife. I'm your wife. You're supposed to be upfront with me and share things and keep me in the loop about where our decisions are leading us to. And you've led us to a place here where that's causing emotional disturbance with our children, and you haven't done a damn thing about it. You've kept a secret from us. That's horrible.
Right. But I think her logic is flawed in that the events that took place before are reason to be mad. Now, the fact that things are happening to our children are that is reason for discussion.
Yeah.
However, I don't think that those two things on the surface are linked. Now, if he had included her and said there is a supernatural presence that is causing this, then we're having a different conversation.
A little bit more, yeah.
But she's insinuating that just like if hanging, then bad things to children. And that's faulty logic. He's leaving out the part that connects them.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
So I see both sides of this argument, but
so much of a rage is the blatant dishonesty that he
Right.
intentionally misled them and
Right.
gave them half truths as even being generous on that regard.
and even here he did not fully disclose what he's learned.
No, God no.
So
He's been yelled at enough for one day. He's going to save that for tomorrow.
well, sure. So I don't know. There's like this weird logical loop because in her mind, the kids are behaving badly because they know about what happened,
Yeah.
which is ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't have kids. Maybe I'm wrong.
Sure.
Maybe I would think differently if I was a father. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's great acting right there. The conflict, the contemplation,
The look
everything
up.
else that's probably being said on the television.
Right. It's really well done.
It just,
Like, clearly she loves him.
yeah. I mean, and again, that's great writing. It's like, even though they had this giant blow up, it's not the end. Because there's more involved with the relationship than just this one thing.
Right, because they have mutual responsibility.
Some films were just like, that's the end of it. And she'd walk out and you'd never see her again.
Sure. That would wake him up, by the way.
Probably.
Not the light coming off.
Yeah.
Is this their shared bed?
I would think so.
Because where is she?
Interesting question, yeah.
At 3:23 in the morning. Which I didn't know if that was supposed to be significant of anything. I'm such a detail person
Sure.
that, like, I question everything.
Yeah.
Oh, 3:23 in the morning. Is 3:23 an address? You know, like.
Is that a recurring motif or some kind
Right,
of... Yeah.
right. Has everything else happened at that particular time? There's our darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Projector whirring was apparently a phantom whirring because now it's gone.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Everything's just gone so far off the rails. Like, I need tactile confirmation.
Right.
I don't even know. He probably doesn't even know if he's in a wake right now, to be honest with you.
The little sound bite of the projector when
Yeah.
it flashes to...
Yeah, the jump cut stuff.
Right. Whoever's idea that was needs a raise, because what a way to tie in all of the elements
Yeah.
in just the blink of an eye. Again, the sweat,
Mm-hmm.
the red eyes.
And a little bit of the score in this whole thing was done by Christopher Young, who did Hellraiser and Elm Street 2.
Elm Street 2, underrated.
There we go. Apparently Derrickson's used them quite a few times.
That kind of cracked porcelain doll face. I don't necessarily understand why they all have it, but I guess it's what links them, so okay. And then, oh, fuck me. Beautiful. Oh, that broke an ankle.
Jeez.
Holy God. I mean, I need a change of shorts.
Jesus fucking Christ. Shit.
I couldn't get out of this house fast enough.
Me neither.
I imagine that there's some element of method acting, you know, or you're actually terrified.
You gotta work yourself up into it, yeah.
But the sets are so, you know, sterile and lit and whatever,
Yeah.
that I feel like it'd be hard to put yourself in that space. But maybe not under these, you know, if you are really buying into the story as good actors do.
Yeah.
A lot of that might not have been terribly on the acting side of it, you know. It might have been.
I mean, any actor has to have a good imagination. They have to be able to immerse themselves.
Right.
Especially if you have a director who is as visual as Derrickson is demonstrating here, that he's probably painting a good picture for him to kind of have Hawke project himself into it.
Wow.
Yeah. Like.
He really doesn't care if that sweater goes with his outfit or not. He's just got to have it on.
There's only the part in the hallway when you had the grease on there.
Yeah, he took it off. He took it off for a little bit.
There, but the rest of it has been clinging to him.
It's a very unsettling score too.
Yeah. It's like a broken record.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what a great response out of the kid.
Yeah.
Because that's a very 12-year-old person reaction.
Oh my shit.
Right. Is it a little on the nose that she told him to slow down?
Hmm?
Yes.
That's good.
Well, yeah, I like that. I mean, it's...
Yeah. What's an integrity with his town?
Right, because he doesn't want anything to look bad on him, right?
Right. Like he didn't want Ellison spreading disinformation or painting his people in a bad light, and he doesn't want his town to kind of to be acting out of sorts or whatnot. He's got a pride about his town.
Right. Oh, and you're gonna not say anything because you're not writing your book, then? So, wouldn't she be pissed? Like, why is she relieved that there's no book? In my opinion, we've gone through all of this. You clearly have something. Like, we better get something back out of it. You know what I mean? Like, we just wasted all this time and energy and terror.
I just feel like it's like, okay,
granted,
this has been a bad chapter. Let's close it and walk away and leave it behind us.
Like, no one to hold them, no one to fold them, but...
Yeah, cut your losses. This has been taking a toll on your family, and then, like you were saying, if you're writing something like a true crime book, this could go on for months. Even longer than that. So, I mean, do you want to keep putting your family through that sort of...
Yeah, but her argument is, I support you, I just don't want to live in the crime scene.
Yeah.
So wouldn't she then still support him, not as long as they're not at the crime scene?
I don't know. It just seems like in this moment where everything feels fairly unhinged and very panicked, like if he's willing to walk away from it, I'm willing to just put this behind us and try to move on from it.
Yet he continues with the professor.
Sure, yeah.
The eater of children or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Is this a video, like, or is this live? Yeah. Oh, he's actually talking. Okay.
Yeah, the video chat.
Okay. I thought maybe it was like a recorded message or something. So we do come back to him. Yeah. But I feel like, you know, like I was saying, there was too much information on the first one.
You would have liked to have him set up a little bit more early in the second act instead of like in the back half of the second act.
Right. So this should really be like the third time we talk to this guy.
Probably, yeah.
But again, here's where I don't necessarily... I don't believe it. It's too supernatural. Now, again, I've always said, if you set up the rules, you tell me the rules, and then you follow the rules, I will go along with whatever you're telling me.
You're getting too many rules at the back half.
You're getting too many rules, and they're being told to me. I'm not experiencing them.
Sure.
I'm not learning them.
Yeah.
Organically.
Sure. Yeah, I get you.
So you're telling me that, 1,000 years ago, kids could get sucked into pictures? No, that's stupid. If you show me it happening in the course, and he learns about it because I've learned about it, and vice versa, then that's fine. But don't just tell me it happened and expect me to believe it.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a more organic way you can go about
right. And so
integrating the information.
That's the issue I have with most supernatural movies.
And there we go.
And fuck me. Because he was already, infected, for lack of a better word.
Right.
So
it's not the house. It's
right.
It attached itself to the people in the house.
Right. So now it doesn't matter where you go. And maybe that's what we are learning at the same time as him, which makes it okay.
Yeah.
As far as the rules go.
Yeah.
I'm glad you at least understand my point of view.
Yeah, yeah.
You may not agree with it, but...
Oh, Lord.
And that's a little, like... You're just a little extra evidence on the back end that I'm like, eh.
Sure, yeah. And he can't let it go.
Well, why... How could you not?
Yeah.
Or I guess, how could you let it go? Because... Now he has new evidence.
Right.
And you can't have new evidence in the closing argument. The envelope of extended cut is just kind of... I really like the feel of this movie.
Oh, yeah. I like that it's very isolated. It's like we don't really venture outside of the house. We're always there with him.
Right. And I don't necessarily love that the cop is the one revealing this information to him.
Mm.
Although it does kind of have a payoff to having the cop involved at all.
Yeah. That he has an investigative mind to connect things.
Right. And I guess I get it. Like, we've given a justification for his entire character, the cop.
Yeah.
Although, I feel like Hawke would have put it together.
Yeah.
So, like... There we go. The skipping. That's unnecessary. I don't like it. I don't like the hanging. I wish she would have just done that. I see. He just spliced all of them together for one reel. That makes sense. All right. You see, there's like this element of like he's such a super sleuth, but then he never put it together, and you're like, why? How could you be so good at one thing and not so good at another?
Sure.
I'm not shitting on the movie. I'm really not. I think it's great. I just think it's deceptively great and could have been better had they changed up a couple of little things. I feel like there had to have been a better way to introduce this than an envelope full of extended cuts. So really, that's kind of my two gripes, is the professor character should have been a little more drawn out of revealing the lore. And there needed to be a different way to introduce evidence prior to better than that. And now she's poisoned him or something. I like that they all have the same kind of tied up theme.
Yeah.
You know, they're all bound and gagged and the point of view shot from down low.
Yeah.
Good line.
Jesus.
Good line.
Yeah.
And the axe dragging along the floor is really creepy. As you and I have talked about axes being one of our more favorite weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a look. It's blunt force trauma.
Yeah.
It's just such a menacing... Oh, yeah. Speaking of, the cover art for this movie
Yes.
is very much this scene right here, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
An hour and 40 minutes in. So that's kind of shitty, actually, because you're looking at the cover art and you're going, oh, somebody walking down the hall, a bloody line on the wall. When is that going to happen? Now, an hour and 40 later. It's very elaborate.
Yeah.
But
direction, getting their fingers dirty.
yeah, and interesting because all of them have the dripping,
Yeah.
which is, invokes images of her paintings on the wall earlier.
Yeah.
So that's a nice little tie-in.
Yeah.
And here comes the cult, so to speak. There's also, my mind wants to know about the first one, like how this got started.
Sure.
And none of that was ever really touched on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is her. Oh, yeah. I love the pieces. She's got to add her little chapter to the diorama. And I liked. I don't know if you noticed that the heads in the movie turned. They were looking to the right at her, and then their heads turned straight when she walked in front of the camera.
Yeah, nice.
Like they're all kind of afraid of him, but not. And now she's part of the movie, which is fantastic. There, like, so many elements of this are beautiful and really great. House painting is so good. So good. And now the Phantom Box is in the attic for whoever moves into this house next.
Yeah.
Goodbye. So yeah, there's there's some really great elements, and just a couple things that piss me off. But overall, I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it's creepy, it's moody. Hawke is excellent in the whole thing. Even the kids are good. I mean, the little girl at the end, she was very convincing. She was being intimidating.
I mean, the 12-year-old, Trevor, had some outstanding... The sequence in the box where he's screaming, and then, he's kind of catatonic for a minute.
Yeah.
And, kids don't get enough love.
Yeah.
Really, really, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many that could have been nominated for awards, and they're just completely overlooked because it's a genre picture. Yeah. Fred Dalton Thompson, R.I.P., Senator.
And Juliet Rylance as the wife, great.
She had some really good
very
scenes.
Authentic, emotional moments.
Right. And this kind of home movie credit is kind of great.
Yeah. I didn't go see the sequel because I didn't hear good things about it.
I don't remember if I ever saw it.
Yeah, I think it came out 2015 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember going to see it.
It wasn't the same crew or anything like that behind it. It was just kind of churned out, and the fact they didn't make a third one kind of shows enough that it, even if it made money, it probably wasn't that well received. They kind of try to squeeze more out of it.
Right, I wonder if they just continued the story of the next family.
Yeah,
but
I don't even know what's going on with the second one.
You take away the mystery, right? Like, you already
know, and then you're kind of playing like, oh, I already know what's going on, so now I gotta wait half the movie for them to catch up.
Right, and that would be shitty.
I mean, that's just my speculation.
Right, so to me, that means that can't be. Like, nobody would be that stupid to write the movie. Are you pulling up a synopsis?
It's still written by the same two guys. Derrickson and Cargill still wrote it. They just didn't direct it.
Oh, well, that could be promising. You have a plot?
Give me a moment.
All right.
It says the film follows a former deputy as he attempts to put an end to the malevolent deity's curse after an encounter with a family that fell victims to it. So it seems like it's following him, following the case along.
Okay, well, maybe it's not so bad. I don't know. Maybe it's worth a view. I kind of want to watch it. I'm going to see if it's streaming anywhere.
Well, let's see. It's a 14% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
14.
Based on 91 reviews.
14% approval.
14% approval.
That's really bad. That is not good. 14%.
One review calls it a slapdash second installment.
Man.
So
you really don't have to try very hard to get better than 14%. So
Yeah.
Oof.
From Syrian Foy. Right, anything I know about.
Well,
sometimes you can get a good script and execute badly.
Well, sure.
That can happen.
Sure. Yeah. I liked your point about everything being in the house. And, we really only had scenes, a couple scenes outside. Yeah. Because ultimately, the story is about kind of what happens in the house, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I was like, okay, you don't want them leaving the house and going off to a university to hunt down D'Onofrio and have a long scene there. It breaks the isolated feeling of the movie.
Right.
So it's nice that they kept it like just doing a Skype video chat type of thing. It all just keeps them inbuilt in that location there.
Well, there's also, I don't know how well you want to read into it.
Sure.
But the idea behind the video chat and that connection to the video element of, things that the voyeuristic, screen time kind of situation, right?
In fact, I mean, he's in his office so often, it just creates just the character isolated from everyone else. That he's keeping everything kind of packed in, close to the chest. It just creates that disconnect from everyone else that matters to him in the film. So I like that.
These are very interesting names of songs.
Yes.
Filmed on location in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
Where there are no scorpions. FYI. Yeah, so I do like it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I had to give it a rating necessarily. You know, those couple things just kind of
Tweak you a little bit.
pull it back from being, you know, top drawer.
Okay.
But overall, really good.
Yeah. I think the one thing I definitely give to Derrickson that he has a great handle on craft. He knows how to create suspense.
Yes.
A mood overall. To get it creeping up on you.
The visuals.
Yeah.
Everything about the craft. Yes.
I mean,
agreed.
the thing's got a few stingers, a few jump scares, but it doesn't. He's not. There's a lot of modern horror
right.
films that just do that ad nauseum. They've got no craft whatsoever.
Right. Yes. Great feeling.
But, yeah.
Just good. This is a solid, good movie.
Yeah.
And thank you, Scott Derrickson. Happy birthday.
Yes.
And we'll do it again in a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.